Night had wrapped the forgotten roads of America like a pitch-black blanket. On the horizon, only the dim beams of Alex's old pickup truck danced in the darkness. The growl of the engine blended with the mournful whisper of the wind, while Alex gripped the steering wheel tightly. At 27, Alex was a vlogger who investigated urban legends, reaching thousands of followers on his YouTube channel. But tonight was different. Tonight, he was chasing the myth of the vanishing Motel Room 13. A story told for decades, yet never proven. This could either launch his career to new heights, or swallow him whole. Alex's heart pounded with both excitement and unease. "This is exactly the kind of place my viewers love," he muttered to himself, checking his camera. The headlights suddenly illuminated a weathered sign by the roadside. "Welcome to Haven Motel Vacancies." The neon tubes buzzed and flickered, shining like an invitation that cut through the night. Some of the letters were broken, others faded, but the words vacancies glowed as if they were meant for Alex alone. He quickly lifted his camera and pointed the lens at the sign. "All right, guys," he said, his voice trembling with both thrill and fear. "Here it is, Haven Motel. According to legend, room 13 here disappears. Whoever goes inside never comes back. Are you ready?" The camera captured the motel's silhouette, a two-story building, worn down by time, standing like a ghost against a desert night. Most windows were swallowed in darkness, but a faint glow from a few suggested someone or something might be inside. The rusted weather vane above the entrance spun in the wind, moving as if pushed by an unseen hand. Alex pulled his truck into the dusty parking lot. When he turned off the engine, silence engulfed him. Only the whisper of the wind and the distant hoot of an owl filled the air. He slung the camera over his shoulder, drew in a deep breath, and started toward the motel's entrance. Each step crunched on the gravel beneath his boots. His heartbeat echoed in his chest as one question burned in his mind. Was this just a legend, or something far more real? Alex slowly pushed open the motel's rusted door. The screech of the hinges tore through the night like a scream, and the heavy air inside pressed down on him as if it hadn't been disturbed in years. The lobby was lit by a single, flickering fluorescent bulb, buzzing faintly like a trapped insect on the ceiling. The faded, floral wallpaper peeled in patches, some corners blackened with mold. The air was thick with dust, mildew, and something else and indescribable, suffocating stench. A shiver ran down Alex's spine. This place felt alive. Every creak, every shadow whispered that the motel itself had a story to tell. The lobby was empty. No receptionist, no guest, just a deep, unsettling silence. Alex lifted his camera, panning the lens across the room. "All right, guys," he said, his voice trembling with excitement and unease. "We're inside the lobby of Haven Motel. This place is seriously creepy. It's like time just stopped here." The camera zoomed in on the reception desk. Behind it, a row of rusted keys hung on hooks, each tag yellowed with age and marked with room numbers. Alex's eyes locked onto one in particular, room 13. The tag was frayed, almost unreadable, but the number stood out, sharp and clear. On the desk lay an open book, a thick, leather-bound ledger with torn edges, like an old guest book forgotten for decades. Alex steadied his camera and picked it up. As he flipped the pages, the crinkle of paper broke the silence like a blade. The book was filled with guest entries, names, dates, short thank you notes. But some of them made Alex's skin crawl. Leaning closer to the camera, he whispered, "Look at this. Some of these are really strange." He pointed to a scrawled note. "Don't stay in 13. You'll never leave." The handwriting was shaky, rushed, written by someone terrified. On another page, in thick red ink, the words screamed, "I heard whispers in the walls. They never stop at night." Alex's brow furrowed. He looked into the camera, forcing a grin, but his eyes betrayed unease. "Guys, this place isn't just an ordinary motel. There's a secret here." Alex's brow furrowed. He looked into the camera, forcing a grin, but his eyes betrayed unease. "Guys, this place isn't just an ordinary motel. There's a secret here." The lens focused as he turned more pages. Another entry caught his eye. "Room 13 calls to you. Don't listen. The letters were pressed so hard into the paper, they nearly tore through. Alex swallowed, turning to the camera. Okay, that's a little too creepy. But you know me, I'm not walking away from this. Suddenly, a faint crack echoed from a distant corner of the lobby. Alex's head snapped toward the sound, the camera following. A long, dark hallway stretched out, lit only by a single bulb that flickered at the far end. It felt like something or someone was watching from the shadows. Trying to steady his voice, Alex whispered into the mic, "Did you hear that? There's something over there." His heart pounded in his chest as he took a cautious step forward, and in that moment, it felt as if the motel itself had taken a breath, or maybe Alex only imagined it. Alex slid the rusty key into the lock of room 13. The old metal resisted, grinding against itself with a chilling scrape. At last, the key turned and the door groaned open with a deep moan, like it had been guarding a secret that no one was meant to disturb. Steadying the camera on his shoulder, Alex stepped inside. In the dim light, the room slowly revealed itself. A dusty bed, a battered nightstand, a faded curtain, and floorboards cracked with age. The air was heavy, damp thick with the stench of mold, as if no one had breathed here in decades. Yet the room didn't feel empty. Something unseen seemed to follow Alex's every move. "All right, guys," Alex said to the camera, his voice raised as if to summon courage. "Here it is, room 13, the heart of the legend. So far, everything looks normal, but..." The camera swept across the room, the dust-caked blanket on the bed, the broken lamp, and a faded painting on the wall. An empty field beneath the sky painted a disturbingly deep red. "This place definitely gives off a strange vibe," Alex muttered. He set up his tripod and pulled a notebook from his bag. "Let's do some research," he whispered, scribbling details into his notes. Dusty bed, cracked lamp, painting with a red sky. But the moment his pen touched paper, the silence shattered. The door creaked open on its own. The hinges groaned softly. Alex's pen slipped from his fingers. His head snapped toward the doorway, but the hallway was swallowed in darkness. He knew the town was empty. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice laced with curiosity and unease. He swung the camera toward the door, but the lens captured nothing but shadows. "Come on, this has to be a joke," he said with a nervous laugh. The smile on his face was a thin mask for the dread in his eyes. Then 3 sharp knocks from the wall. Short, rhythmic, deliberate, as if someone was knocking back from the other side. Alex froze. He aimed the camera at the wall, but all it revealed was peeling wallpaper. The knocking stopped, and then came something worse, a whisper. "Why are you here?" The voice was faint at first, distant, then closer, sharper, as though creeping into the room itself. Alex's breath caught in his throat. He turned wide-eyed to the camera and whispered, "Did you hear that? Please, tell me you heard that." The whisper returned, more insistent this time. "Why are you here?" It echoed from everywhere, seeping through the walls, the floor, even from the camera strapped to his shoulder. Alex forced a shaky laugh. "Okay, this has to be some kind of trick. Someone's hidden speakers around here, right?" But his voice cracked. His trembling hands tightened the tripod screw. The whisper did not stop. The words grew sharper, as if breathed directly into his ear. "Leave, or stay forever." Alex swallowed hard, staring into the lens. "Guys, this can't be real, right?" His voice faltered, drained of certainty. His eyes flicked to the painting, the sky in it. Was it darker than before? Deeper? Redder? Or was his mind twisting under fear? Grabbing the camera, he turned toward the door. His chest heaved, heart hammering. "All right," he muttered, forcing determination into his tone. "I'm going to solve this. Room 13 won't get the best of me." And with that, Alex took another step into the unknown. Alex fumbled along the wall until his fingers found the light switches. He flipped them all on. One by one, the old fluorescent bulbs buzzed to life, casting their pale glow across the room. Yet somehow, the darkness didn't retreat. The corners still swallowed the light, as if the room itself was drinking it in. His breathing quickened. He raised his camera and panned slowly. "Okay, guys," he said, forcing cheer into his voice. "The lights are on. but it still feels like something's hiding in the shadows. Just then, the old box television in the corner crackled to life. Its sudden static tore through the silence, making Alex jolt. He spun the camera toward it. "What the hell?" he shouted, his tone caught between surprise and fear. On the screen, grainy VHS quality footage flickered to life. Smiling families, bright neon signs, cheerful motel commercials. But something was wrong. Faces blurred, colors drained. Each frame twisted, as though the video itself was being corrupted. And then Alex froze. On the screen was himself, standing in the very room, holding his camera just as he was right now. But Alex hadn't moved since he set up the tripod. He knew that. The figure on the screen slowly turned its head and looked straight into the camera. Straight at him. Its eyes were hollow, expressionless, yet knowing. Alex's mouth went dry. This can't be real," he whispered, edging closer to the screen. "Guys, I'm not recording this. This isn't me." At that moment, the whisper returned, stronger, sharper, threatening. "We've been waiting for you." The voice echoed from everywhere, through the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and now, from the television itself. Alex's skin crawled. His hair stood on end. Dropping the camera to the floor, he bolted for the door. "Okay, that's it," he muttered frantically, yanking at the handle. But the knob wouldn't budge. The door was locked tight. No matter how hard he pulled, it didn't move an inch. "Come on," he shouted, pounding his fists against the wood. Breathless, he fumbled out his phone. The screen lit up, but the signal bars were gone. Empty. No service. "Of course," he whispered, letting out a shaky laugh. He turned back to the camera, staring directly into the lens. "Guys, this isn't a joke. The door's locked. My phone's dead. And this TV..." His words died in his throat. The image had shifted again. The screen no longer showed him. It now displayed a long, dark corridor. At the far end stood a figure tall, thin, impossible to define. Slowly, it began to walk toward the camera. Alex's chest tightened, his pulse racing. The whisper came again. This time, it was right in his ear. "You must stay." With trembling hands, Alex grabbed his camera once more, spinning desperately around the room in search of an escape. He ran to the window, tore open the curtains. But beyond the glass, there was nothing. No landscape, no night sky. Just a suffocating void of endless black. This motel," Alex stammered into the camera, his voice breaking. "It wants something from me." "But what?" Alex's breath was caught in his chest, like a scream trapped deep inside. He pounded on the door once more, his hands trembling as he yanked at the handle. "Is anyone there? Please," he shouted, his voice cracking with desperation. The whispers echoed through the walls of the room, growing louder, darker. Then, the TV screen suddenly went black. From the darkness, a single image appeared. Alex's face, twisted in terror. But this time, his eyes were gone. With one final burst of static, the camera shut off. The motel sank back into silence. Outside, the neon sign kept flickering. "Welcome to Haven Motel, vacancies." As if it were waiting for its next guest. What happened to Alex? No one knows. But the next guest might just be you. Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you dare, try spending a night in the room.